Hello and welcome to the W.B. Mason Coach Report on GoHofstra.com. Joined as always by the head coach of the Hofstra Wrestling Program, Dennis Papadatos. Coach, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, let's get right into it. We'll touch on Sunday's match against Bloomsburg before looking ahead to this weekend with two dual matches at home. A tough 2019 loss on a tiebreaker. Really a back-and-forth match, pretty even, ended up 19-19. Go to the third tiebreaker, and Bloomsburg comes out ahead on points, 45-40. A couple of days after that match, what are your reflections now?
It was another match that, listen, they came and did what they wanted to do and what they were supposed to do, but we're better than them, and we let them win. Yeah, that's, a little frustrating on our part. If the Trey Rogers showed up from 2 weeks ago, we crushed him. And then if the Zach Knight Ward from this weekend showed up the weekend before, we don't go 0-3 the weekend before. So we're trying to figure out why we're rotating on who's having bad weekends and who's having good weekends. And no one seems to be having all the good weekends on the same weekend. So we got to make that work, because if you put our team together, right now Dylan's back in the national rankings in one of the on one of the new ones, which he was ranked most of last year. So now at this point this year, and everyone else has fallen off because of how December's went. But at some point this year, our 25-pounder's been nationally ranked, our 49-pounder, our 65-pounder, our 74-pounder, our heavyweight have all been nationally ranked. So that's a pretty darn good team. It'd be nice if they all can do it on the same weekend, and we'd be 5-0. But we got to figure out how to do that. So, kudos to Bloomsburg. They, coming in, we thought we could win 10 matches. We really, really were pretty confident we were going to win 8. I figured a bad day we were going to win 7. A horrible day we were going to win 6. Well, it was even worse than that because we won 5, and then we lost 5. So, and one of the matches we thought that we were heavily favored in, we ended up getting pinned in, which, it's the way it goes. That's a 12-point swing in the match right there, right? We expected to pin there, and we got pinned. Right, so that's 12. Instead of getting 6 points, we gave up 6. Not to say it's all Reese's fault. Other guys, obviously, because it's not all. The other guys didn't, get it done as well, and we're looking to make adjustments to try to make sure everyone's firing on all cylinders on the same weekend. Hopefully, that starts this weekend.
All right, let's look at some of the positives. You started out the match at 141. Vinny Vespa goes out, wins by fall. You get a big major decision from Sage Heller, 9-0 over Anthony Ventrano. As you said, Zachary Knight and Ward and Dylan close out the final two of the last 3 weight classes with wins, leading up to that final match. You drop a decision at 133. Which lets Bloomsburg tie it. But, what were the positives coming out of the match?
Obviously, we're glad that Vinny's back to competing where he should be. Vinny didn't have a good November. Now December and January has been wrestling well. It was good for him to go out and get that. It's nice that, Dylan's been a little more consistently healthy. And obviously the way – and now Sage was injured, so he's back and wrestling well. And Zach, performing at the level that we feel like he should be performing at. It'd be interesting. We were trying not to wrestle Garrett Lambert. He's been, a little banged up, and we had to wrestle him per the circumstance. That's why we started at 141. We were hoping not to wrestle Garrett Lambert, and now Garrett's probably going to be out for a little bit. It didn't help that he went in there, so now we're going to have to figure this out for the next few weeks. But some guys came up and stepped up and wrestled. And other guys, probably wrestled below their expectations, and we're gonna have to do a better job of making sure everyone's on the same page, every weekend. But I'm really happy with Zach. Zach performed really well this weekend.
The mood in the room, we're losing on a tiebreaker where it comes to points in each match, and there's a real fine line between winning and losing. Is that something that maybe this kind of served as a wake-up call that you need to, for everybody on the mat to, really go out and not give up points or stay aggressive and try to keep earning points in the match?
Absolutely. We've been talking about it all weekend, that the points that you give up and score in practice matter in these matches here. So I think guys, they hear it and they believe it. But I think that also was now when you see it and you suffer the dire consequences of it, more guys are like, oh, No, yeah, it's absolutely true. So I would say my mindset has shifted a little bit to maybe it's understood a little more. And some guys that maybe weren't making weight correctly are now like, well, I'm suffering losses. I'm hurting myself and the team. Maybe I need to make some adjustments. And listen. So again, we've never had an attitude problem all year. We don't have a behavior problem. We don't have an attitude problem. But just sometimes some guys are young and everyone comes to terms on their own terms, right? So we're trying to hopefully this one push some people over that need to make some adjustments to get us to where we need to be.
All right. Turn the page on Bloomsburg. Look ahead to this weekend. A pair of dual matches. Saturday at 4 p.m. at home against the Citadel. And then Sunday at 1, the EIWA opener against Binghamton. Two teams that you're vastly familiar with.
Yeah.
What are you looking for this weekend from your team?
I'm looking for a more consistent effort up and down the lineup. I don't know if effort's the right word because I don't think effort's ever the problem. Maybe more consistent of being to your optimal self up and down the lineup. So we don't have he had a great weekend and he had not so great of a weekend from which was vice versa from the week before. Like I said, if we have 8 of our 10 guys competing at their level, I honestly think we can compete with almost every team in the top 25, and we've been saying that all year, and we've showed flashes of it. Like I said, we've had 5 or 6 guys that have been in the national rankings this year. That is a top 25 team. That's what top 25 teams have. We've just been struggling keeping everyone doing it at the same time. So just looking for, I'm going to call it effort, but I guess people being closer to their optimal self, their true selves, all on the same weekend. And, we're trying to focus in on that.
All right. Coach, I wish you best of luck in these 2 matches this weekend. Hopefully get back on the right side of things. Yes. Once again, that's Saturday at 4 p.m. versus the Citadel and Sunday at 1 p.m. versus Binghamton. Both matches right here at the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex. You can also view live stats and video on GoHofstra.com. And you've been watching the WB Mason Coach Report on GoHofstra.com.